is SiteGround really good for you? Well, I decided to put it into test and test many factors, so you, after watching this video, are going to be able to make an informed decision if it's good for you or not. So let's get started. Popularity. Now, SiteGround is nothing new on the block. They have been here since 2004, and recently this month they are celebrating their 18th birthday. As you can see, they have kind of steady traffic, around 4 million visitors a month and low bounce rate. What does this tell us? Well, they do have stable clientele and they don't really have many spikes. Let's compare their data center locations. Now, as you can see, they do have presence in the USA, but they're not using their own services only, they're also using Google Cloud services, which allows them to spread into more regions, which is really good if you are wanting to make more international websites. Also, kind of cool thing is that Google pledges to use 100% renewable energy for their cloud services, which, if you like, is one of the reasons you can go with this provider. Let's compare server speed. As you can see, this is the whole month, last month. They have kind of rough beginning, over 500 milliseconds in some cases, but as you can see, it kind of leveled down around 300-350 milliseconds mark. Now this averaged for around 405 milliseconds for a month, which are for the shared web hosting really good numbers. Now, uptime, there is really not that much to talk about. They had 100% uptime, and I haven't seen in past many cases where they will actually turn off their servers or something would go horribly wrong. So that's definitely a good one for SiteGround. Now let's take a result of a stress testing. Now, if you don't know what does it mean, don't worry, I will explain it to you. What is actually being happen in stress testing is that you're gonna be sending 50 bots for 5 minutes and 30 seconds on website hosted on SiteGround, and they will start interacting with your website, making a lot of requests, so clicking everywhere and flooding these servers with requests. This gray line represents the amount of bots currently on your website. So you can see they started adding up bots. It leveled up around 50 and they started leaving. So the first one that came in was the first one to leave. This blue line represents the changes in speed. Now ideally this would be completely straight line. We can see that SiteGround had one big hiccup, but they managed to recover nicely from it. This purple line only represents the amount of requests being made. The important is that they've processed over 10,000 requests per 5 minutes and 30 seconds and had 0 HTTP failures. Now, if we are going to be looking at some different companies also in shared web hosting niche, let's take a look at Bluehost. Also, 50 bots for only 5 minutes, and you can see this graph looks very different. The blue line is definitely not steady and is around 2000 milliseconds, and also the amount of requests is kind of weird here. They only managed to get 4000 requests, and out of those 2690 requests were failures, so the site didn't work for this amount of traffic. So definitely good one for SiteGround on that. Now let's compare their support. They have live options 24/7 and also instant self-help options, which are, for example, pre-written articles. Now, those articles are really good written. Many other web hosting companies also have good pre-written articles. Now let's talk a little bit about live chat. Now this may be weird, but I don't think SiteGround has actually that good of a chat. It is really hard sometimes to get in touch with a real person on the other line, and this is gonna be costing you a lot. But when you get in touch finally with someone, they're really well trained and they will help you with a lot of stuff, but sometimes it's really hard to get in touch with them, so keep that in mind. Now let's talk about server management platforms. Obviously you can manage your server by using command lines, but there's also management platforms to make it easier for you. Now, majority of web hosting companies are using something called cPanel. You can think about it like Windows for your computer, something you're gonna interact with that's way more easier to use for regular people. Now, SiteGround decided they don't want to use cPanel and created their own. It's called SiteTools, and it's kind of weird because It's basically something like cPanel. If you are a complete beginner and have never used cPanel, you will have no problem dealing with this. But if you are going to have problems with this, there's a big chance that when you try to Google it, there will be not that many results for it. For example, if you are looking for something on cPanel, it's used by so many people that it's highly probable that someone had the same problem than you, and the question is already answered in that discussion. But SiteTools, it's not. The good part about SiteTools is their staff is really well trained in this, and they will try to help you the best. Let's take a look at what they offer in their basic packaging. They are going to give you Cloudflare integration, which is good for security, spam protection, daily backups, anti-bot system, and web application firewall, which is all really good. Now the basic plan will also get you only one website, which is really easily integratable with WordPress, so you can make your site using WordPress really easily. They will also give you free SSL certificate, which is also going to help you. They also want to give you free CDN, which stands for Content Delivery Network, which is going to help users get faster access to your website. Currently, they are using this version of PHP and they are using SSD as their storage. Let's compare plans for a little bit. For shared web hosting, they have 3 basic plans. Now, even though they do recommend Grow Big plan, I would actually suggest you start with this startup plan. It is cheaper and you can always upgrade. And the chances are, when you are just starting to creating your website, you're gonna only need one website and you will not get 10,000 visitors a month just yet. You will not get it so fast. Also, the amount of web storage is really good, 10 gigabytes. It's very rare that you would be actually using everything from it. So you can always start with the cheapest, and if you outgrow it, you can go and upgrade to a different plan. So you don't need to waste money on something you don't gonna need. Now, I want to disclose this that I am affiliated with this company. What does that mean? When you are going to buy through my link in description, or you go to lukanovs.com/SiteGround, you will be giving money to SiteGround, and they will decide to give a small portion of it to me. Now the important part is that this will not cost you anything more. So you are basically deciding if SiteGrounds keep everything or they will share a little bit portion with me. Now let's compare their prices. If you're going to use my link in the description, they will automatically apply all of the discounts, which is kind of a big deal when it comes to web hosting, because every web hosting company is promoting this first year price, which is way lower because they are trying to get as many customers as possible. But the renewal prices are always going to be much higher. Now in this scenario, basic plan is starting from $3.99, so basically $4 a month. You will never pay monthly for those services. You are always going to be charged for entire year. So this will cost you nearly $48 for a year. And if you're gonna go for renewal, it will cost you $180. SiteGround doesn't include free domain for the first year, and you are going to need to pay $18 a year. Now, the domain privacy, they're offering it and it will cost you for the first deal only $12, but the renewal is $24, which is kind of high for this service. Now they also have different add-ons, but it's hard to compare them with another web hosting companies because everybody has something different in their package when it comes to add-ons. Let's put it together. Let's say you want to go for shared hosting, you want to get your domain and domain privacy. Now, if you're thinking about domain privacy, what it actually is, let's take a look at this example. When you are buying your domain, the name of your website, your personal information will be shared on public because it's a public knowledge who owns what website. So you will be sharing with the entire world your real name, your real address, your email, phone number, where you live. And some people don't like to share this information because everybody can look it up, and some people will start spamming you or giving you calls, offering their services. So they don't want to do this. Well, this is where domain privacy comes in. What is actually happening is that the company you are buying the domain from will register it and hide it under their brand. So you can see in this example, it would be Bluehost, and they will not show your personal information, but their company's information. But you will be still registered as owner of this domain. In this example, let's say we want this domain privacy. For the first deal, this package together will cost you $77.87, which is kind of good price, but renewal price for the second year is gonna be costing you $221.87, which is the difference of $144. And you can see without the domain and whois protection, the difference is only $132. And this right here, summing up all of those expenses. So let's say after 4 years of using their service, you're gonna be paying $743. Now, is this worth it for you or is it not? Now, there's no denying that SiteGround is a little bit more premium when it comes to shared hosting. Also, let's take a look at other people's experience. Now, I'm gonna give you one good advice. Whenever you are looking for some information about this, try to look at sites that offer real people giving reviews. Because what is actually happening that people are affiliated. I'm also affiliated. And a lot of those people are not telling you the truth because they're trying to get as many sales as possible. But if we look at those reviews, we can see that they are kind of good. They don't have that many problems and they are ranking really high when it comes to shared hosting servers. So what are the results of our test? SiteGround does offer you good speed for a shared hosting company. They don't have problem with uptimes and they offer you helpful plugins like caching for your website. They also use way more modern technologies than other popular shared hosting companies. They also offer you easy WordPress setup process and server location in many countries. And also it comes with daily backups. Now, what are some disadvantages of SiteGround? They definitely have higher prices and they do not offer free domain for the first year. It's also kind of hard to get in touch with live chat support. And for some people also the unique control panel can be a little bit difficult to get around with. So, who should be using SiteGround? Well, I think people who are serious about getting traffic on their website, someone who can afford to spend a little bit more money long term, and someone who is looking to rank higher on Google, because as we know, the faster websites get the most traffic, because Google doesn't like sites that are really slow. Now this will benefit you if you are trying to make money using your website. Also, if you're making a website, let's say for a client, and you want something that will simply work for them and they will not have many troubles, SiteGround is a really good option for this. It's also good if you have majority traffic from the USA, but also if you want to have some more international audience. Now, who shouldn't be using SiteGround? People who are just playing around with building websites or people who create websites that are not intended to be found through search engines. Those can be, for example, your local church websites or your school websites. Well, people will go directly through the domain to this website. So this is everything. If you want to get the discount, you can go to lookarounds.com/SiteGround or simply click on the link in the description. Thank you for your time. I hope I helped you at least a little bit and have a nice one. Goodbye.